There's no place like the Qube.
Hello, friends and family. This is Julianna from Falmouth, Massachusetts. She, her pronouns. And I'm happy to be part of this family because everyone is so different, and that's the best part about it. Have a great day, everyone.
Family, happy Pride. It's your favorite queer radio personality, Aina Deshawn, and I have got to start by saying thank you. Thank you, Julianna, for taking a little time to leave us such a beautiful Pride voicemail. Now, I spent this weekend taking my nephew to college orientation, and of course, I left my computer charger at home. So this episode is a little shorter than others because my computer's about to die. But I promise it's still full of quality queer news. Also, before we get into things, I want to say thank you to our sponsors who bought ads this month. This is the first month we really tried to focus in on monetizing the pod. I brought on Nicole Walker as our sponsorship coordinator, and y'all, we landed some deals. So I want to say thank you to Lipstick and Lace, Jamila Bryant with Push Forward Development, the Together Real Bad podcast, and Keep It Savory Salt Company. Family, your support keeps this podcast going, and I really do hope you found some extra traction. Some people bought some tickets and maybe used that discount code. So thank you. With that in mind, let's take a quick break and then jump into our top queer news stories for this week. We'll be right back.
What has 144 players, 12 teams, and one league that you should tap into? If you guessed the WNBA, you already know. If you didn't, we'll get you up to speed real quick. My name is Money, and this is Rebound Revolution, bringing you the revolutionary on and off the court happenings in the W. Join me and a special guest each week as we watch them work. Listen to Rebound Revolution wherever you get your podcasts.
Unapologetic, being Black and queer in podcasting. Now, family, this is the second year that I put on this broadcast to celebrate and amplify Black queer pods. We talk about their creative work, lived experiences, and how race and sexuality inform their work. This year, our guests are some bad mama jammers, okay? Shayna and Chris from Bad Queers and Travell from the Fanti podcast. I also got to send mad love out to Elsie of ShePodcasts and Lipson for co-producing this broadcast with me. I wouldn't want to do it without her. And if you're interested in joining us on Thursday night, yes, this Thursday night, please RSVP, okay? The link is in the show notes. Now for the news. Happy Pride, family. I hope you had an amazing Pride weekend. And in some good news, the Equality Act has been reintroduced. You think it can get passed this time? An Arkansas judge bans an anti-trans bill. Big Freedia drops a new album, and I share a Pride Month story with you. Now, let's go.
You are now tuned in to higher frequencies. We do this frequently. Turn your radio station to E3 for that decency. Listen to great music and the latest movement. Safe listening for anyone that's tuned in. Who you waking up to? Aina Deshawn, Q crew and friends. It's that real talk. Online radio with the spins. You caught up in traffic, frustrated. Just check in with E3 to shift your vibrations and get elevated. That's queer radio done right. Choose to be yourself. That's the only way to live life, and that's how it's done here. Just know y'all tuned in to the greatest. Ain't no competition. We ain't worried about the other stations. Check.
Our top news story for today is that the Equality Act was reintroduced this past week. We got to give mad love out to some legislators. Okay, Representative Mark Takano, Democrat out of California. And then for the Senate, Senators Jeff Merkley, Democrat out of Oregon, Tammy Baldwin, Democrat out of Wisconsin, and Cory Booker, Democrat out of New Jersey. They've all sponsored this legislation. So What is the Equality Act all about, and why in the world is it even important? So basically, our civil rights laws protect folks based on race, color, national origin, and in most cases, right, sex, disability, and religion. Now, you didn't hear me mention sexual orientation or gender identity. That's because our current civil rights laws don't protect those things. Okay? We are not protected from discrimination. Now, we can all see how desperately, given the current political environment, right? And all the things happening to queer folks. Now, the Equality Act would prohibit discrimination based on sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity in areas including public accommodations and facilities, education, federal funding, employment, housing, credit, and the jury system. Family, this would cover all of these anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ laws and legislation that they've been passing in these red states. I cannot emphasize the impact the Equality Act would have on our lives. Kiera Johnson, the executive director of the LGBTQ Task Force, had this to say. Currently, LGBTQ people in 29 states are not protected by anti-discrimination laws. This patchwork of equality is indefensible, and in the current hostile climate at the state level, this legislation is more important than ever. We implore Congress to consider the Equality Act as a must-pass bill and use every tool available to ensure the protection of LGBTQ communities. We call on the Biden administration to advocate and rally congressional support to explicitly include LGBTQ people in civil rights laws and expand protections for women and people of color who are vulnerable to discrimination. Everyone should be able to live without the fear of harassment, violence, and discrimination. This is an opportunity for Congress to work together to bring our country closer together. We've been waiting too long. The time is now to make the Equality Act a reality and take the country one step closer to living its promise of liberty and justice for all. Family, I just read her statement because what else is there to say? Our political allies and top LGBTQ organizations have been trying to pass the Equality Act since 1974. Yes, that's how long we've been trying to pass this bill. But maybe given the current climate, it'll actually pass. Maybe people are fed up enough. Maybe people are angry enough to really get it done this time. I mean, only time will tell. In more political news, and family, let me tell you, it's more good news, okay? A federal judge in Arkansas has struck down a ban on gender-affirming medical care for trans minors. Judge James Moody Jr., he ruled that the law was unconstitutional. He emphasized that the evidence presented during that trial indicated the positive impact such medical care had on the mental health and well-being of trans youth. Now, similar restrictive bans have been passed in 19 other states, and we've talked about them on this pod, with several of them considering similar measures. This decision sets a precedent, potentially leading to challenges against these laws across the country. Now, in Arkansas, the governor does plan to appeal the decision. Similar laws have faced temporary blocks in other states. And this just shows the battle that is happening. One side wins, the other side loses. The other side loses, the other side wins. Family, even more reason that we need the Equality Act to pass. But in the meantime, this decision makes a significant victory in Arkansas, a significant victory for LGBTQ rights and trans rights, and another opportunity for us to see that hate will not win. Now, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. So we got our first bad review. The subject was too much. And they went on to say, trying to push their agenda. And then they gave us 1 star. This 1 star has taken our Apple rating down to 4.3. Now, if you dig this podcast and love what we're building, can you leave us a good review to balance this bad one? Y'all already know we pushing an agenda. It's a queer one, an inclusive one of love. So I'd really appreciate it. Everyone knows a group of lions is called a pride. But did you know a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance? Get your pride or flamboyance together and wrap up the month of June at Adults Night Out Pride Party at Lincoln Park Zoo. Dance to music by DJ All The Way K. Play Drag Queen Bingo with Veronica Pop. Enjoy free face painting. Listen to animal chats and stop by pop-up bars set up all throughout the zoo at this after-hours event. Proceeds benefit Lincoln Park Zoo and help the zoo stay free, accessible, and open to the public 365 days a year. Get your tickets at the link in the show notes. Welcome back to the show, family. In culture and entertainment news, Big Freedia has released a new album titled Central City. Her album dropped on June 23rd, right in time for Pride Weekend. She's pushing her single El Nino, and she's got a collab with Lil Wayne. She said Central City will take you on a journey to uptown Third Ward, New Orleans, down to Josephine Street where Big Freedia became Big Freedia. I'm throwing it back with some old school bounce tracks and taking bounce into the future with sounds you have never heard from the diva before. Come on, Big Freedia. I love her. Seen her perform one time in DC and she worked it, okay? So, if you're a Big Freedia fan, go download and support the Queen of Bounce. Now let's close out the pod with our word for today. Pride Month has treated me so well, family. We sold more ads than ever before. The speaking engagements, the asks, the record number of podcast downloads. We got an Apple Podcast feature. I mean, I could literally go on and on about this month. The one event, though, that really stands out is a storytelling event I hosted called Outspoken that took place at the Illinois Holocaust Museum. Yeah, we had a Pride event at the Illinois Holocaust Museum, y'all. I didn't know what to expect, but the room was full of 150 plus folks, mostly Jewish, listening to queer stories of coming out, survival, and joy. As one of approximately 6 Black people in the space, I mean, I really didn't know what to expect, but when I say the space was filled with love, I mean it. That event gave me hope. Now, I co-host Outspoken every first Tuesday of the month, and it typically takes place at Sidetrack. Sidetrack is one of the largest gay bars in the country, and it's based on Chicago's North Side. At the end of every set, I do a call and response with the audience. This month, I shared Special by Lizzo because I always want to remind us that we are special. So indulge me, okay? We're going to do it like I do it at Outspoken. Even though I can't hear you, I believe you are going to do this call and response with me. I believe it. So you ready to repeat after me? In case nobody told you today, you're special. In case nobody made you believe, you're special. Well, I always love you the same. You're special. I'm so glad you're still with us. Broken. But damn, you're still perfect. You're special. Family, I really hope you believe it. And if not, just run it back a little bit and repeat it again. It can be your affirmation for the week, okay? Till next week, family. Peace. If you enjoyed what you hear, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is a production of E3 Radio, your #1 queer radio station playing queer music and reporting on queer news in high rotation.